successfully on the American-Canadian Tour, you need a car that is not only quick, but a car that can absorb a lot of punishment. Running tight bullring tracks of a 1/3 and a 1/4 mile, the machines will pick up battle scars. ACT is a very physical series. More time is spent keeping the cars together than is actually spent in competition. Nothing you can do but assess the damage, get to work, and forget about the clock. On the first leg of our eastern swing at Scotia Speedway in Halifax, Oshawa's Randy McDonald let the others fight for elbow room. While cars in the pack took a beating, Randy had plenty of room out front in a car that seemed to handle close to perfectly on a slippery track. The capacity crowd had come to watch Junior Hanley stretch his lead in ACT and GM National Stock Car Series points, but McDonald led all but 19 of the 200 laps for the win. Today at Riverside Speedway, Antigonish, stop 2 on our Eastern Tour, and Junior Hanley is hoping lightning won't strike twice on our Summer of Thunder Tour 92.
Everybody, I'm Eric Thomas along with Dave Moody, and welcome to the GM Parts 150 at Riverside Speedway in Antigonish. We're high atop pit row right here, Dave, and you know, most of the pit action happens during the race, but as far as I'm concerned, a lot of it's happened before the race even gets going.
It sure has. 2 out of the top 10 drivers in the GM series, the number 10 driver Dan Beatty and the point leader Junior Hanley, both lost engines in practice today. Hanley made the switch, put in a new power plant in time for qualifying, but he missed the cut for the semi-feature. As a result, he starts way back in row 7 this afternoon.
Some of the other people to watch this afternoon, obviously the 0-1 of Randy McDonald out of Oshawa, the winner at Scotia Speedway on Raceline just a couple of nights ago. But talk about a guy being hot. Kevin LePage out of Shelburne, Vermont. He's been unbeatable in the preliminaries. For more, let's go trackside in John Massingbird.
Thank you, gentlemen. The story today goes 3 ways. Young Scott Fraser out of Shubenacadie, Nova Scotia. Scott, you finished 3rd Friday night in your first ever ACT start. Congratulations, and what are you looking for today?
Well, thanks very much. We're starting a long way back today, and we got a long ways to go. We're going to stay smooth and try to finish and hope we're there at the end.
The man that won the GM race on Friday night over in Nova Scotia in Halifax was Randy McDonald. Randy, it's a neat racetrack, rock and roll. It's very fast. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it's just like a roller coaster ride, actually, but it's getting a little old and it's real tough on tires, so I think strategy is going to have something to do with it this day.
And Rolly McDonald out of Pictou, Nova Scotia. Rolly, this is considered your home track, and it's very fast. What's the story today?
Well, I got a few thousand laps in this track for sure. It's been here since about 1968, and we raced here a lot, but we're going to go for the long haul today and take our time until the last 30, 40 laps.
The GM National Stock Car Series is brought to you by GM Parts, the expert choice. Kodak Gold Plus Film. You can't keep the moment without Kodak. Castrol XLR, the oil engineered for today's cars. Revell, the world's model maker. And by Budweiser Racing. It's a Bud race.
Here's how they line up for GM Parts 150 on the pole. A win at St. Félicien and 4 top 10s in his career here. Kevin LePage out of Vermont.
On the outside point, on a roll, Randy McDonald and the GM Parts Pro Shop Chevrolet looking to make it 2 for 2.
Why is Kim Wallace the best in ACT rookies? Great qualifying. Here he is inside of row 2 in the Lumina.
And outside Kim Wallace, Bill Zardo Jr., a strong run for the 2nd generation driver from Brampton, Ontario.
Beaver Dragon coming into this weekend had the 1-lap record. He knows the quick way around this 1/3 oval.
And starting in the 6th position, young Robbie Thompson of Owen Sound, Ontario. A strong qualifying performance for his Chevrolet.
Rolly McDonald was 5th at this event last year, a strong NASCAR campaigner from nearby Pictou.
And on the outside of Rolly, Bill Zardo Sr., the elder half of the father-son racing team, driving the Ford Thunderbird.
Robbie Crouch from Tampa, Florida, loves running the Canadian Maritimes, a 2-time winner at Riverside Speedway.
The number 10 started this afternoon, one of the locals, Mike McKenzie of Dartmouth, Nova Scotia, in the NTN Bearings Oldsmobile.
It was a record capacity crowd last year, and it's a record capacity crowd this year.
And the top drivers are here from up and down the eastern seaboard, from Prince Edward Island to Providence, Rhode Island, here to compete in the Maritimes.
I like the looks of this local contingent as well. There's Scott Fraser, third at Halifax. Can he do it again here?
No question about it. He is a strong young racer. He's got a taste of confidence now after showing very well against the traveling tour regulars last time out. We'll keep an eye on him in front of the hometown crowd.
1/3 of a mile, kind of reminds you of a shrunk Bristol. Big sweeping bank turns at either end. You're coming downhill off the banking, then right back up the hill to get the turns at the other end. The straightaways front and back are V-shaped here, and it's very abrasive on tires.
It's one of the favorite tracks for these drivers. It's like riding a roller coaster, uphill and down.
This is event number 9 of the GM National Stock Car Series, and a 44-point lead for Hanley on McDonald, who is 17 better than Robbie Crouch.
Pace car set to come in. It's going to be a very interesting race, Eric. As you mentioned, this racetrack, very abrasive. There have been some problems with tire wear in practice and qualifying earlier on this afternoon. We'll see how it goes. Green flag flies. Kevin LePage on the inside, Randy McDonald on the outside, and LePage with a burst of horsepower pulls away.
GM Parts 150 from Riverside Speedway in Antigonish on Raceline is underway, and Kevin LePage takes the point, and the challenge already on for Randy McDonald, who tried to stick his nose down on the inside.
Here's the view out of the back of the Claude Leclerc car, up close and personal with the Derek Lynch OnSat Motorsports machine. This is going to be full fendered action. This is a very tight, very high bank racetrack, and they'll be swapping some sheet metal today.
Boy, they thought it was physical at Halifax. Wait till they get done with this one. Trouble with Beaver Dragon up against the wall, Dave.
Beaver Dragon up against the outside guardrail. May have had a problem under the hood. There's some fluid down on the inside of the racetrack. Some other cars involved as well. Let's take a look out the back bumper of the Roger LaPerle car. You can see they're scrambling already. Ooh. And Derek Lynch plows into the side of the 88 Steve Knowlton.
More work for the Derek Lynch crew. They spent all day Saturday at Rolly McDonald's shop to get this car back together. He didn't even have time to repaint the one side of it. And he's got cosmetic damage here, we think, at least already. He's got the onboard radio. Let's check with him. Derek Lynch, Eric Thomas. You read?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Cosmetic damage only, Derek?
Yeah, never hit the wheels at all. We're okay here. Just going to fasten her down so it doesn't blow up.
Kind of a rough last couple of races for you with this, with the ruggedness out there.
We're going to keep our chin up. We'll be there at the end.
Here's John in the pits with Beaver Dragon.
A tough ride early in the going for Beaver Dragon. Beaver, what happened out there?
Something let go in the motor, I guess.
Too early in this race to be out of it.
Yeah, first lot.
A tough break for veteran Beaver Dragon. He's out of it for this afternoon. They believe the motor has gone bad.
Well, Eric, that's a tough break because this is a Beaver Dragon kind of a racetrack.
Sure is. Pace car out front, Kevin LePage, car number 21, the Donut Flamand, Allen Lumber, Ford Thunderbird, and the 01 GM Parts Pro Shop Chevy Lumina of Oshawa's Randy McDonald. Pace car drops off the apron. Boy, they look pretty coming down here. Kevin LePage across the stripe, and a great restart here.
Kevin LePage got a huge jump out of turn number 4. Randy McDonald looking to tuck it down low. Bill Zardo Jr. trying to hold him off, but can't do it. McDonald is back in line in the number 2 position. Then the side-by-side battle. Bill Zardo Jr. on the inside. Kim Wallace on the outside as the Chevrolets go nose to nose.
You know, Kevin LePage's T-Bird is pretty quick, and I'm thinking that win at St. Felicien has given him a little bit of confidence here. Now look at Robbie Crouch. He mentioned on the top of the show, a 2-time winner. This is his kind of track as well. Look at him gain some real estate beside Robbie Thompson's 25.
Crouch on the outside in the black number 48 knows the quick way around this racetrack is to get to the outside, get to the front, and then try and stay there. With the tire problems that were experienced in qualifying, Robbie Crouch wants to try and get his car to the point as soon as possible.
Man, the Sony Dynamax wall cam give you an idea of this bank in here. I think I'm getting dizzy.
A little bit of motion sickness. Imagine how the drivers feel, because in addition to that high banking and the high speed, there is, as you mentioned, a bit of a roller coaster effect. They go downhill to the start-finish line, uphill to turn 1, then they do it over again on the back straightaway.
They never do level off, do they? Robbie Crouch now all by himself, got some room to maneuver. That's Bill Zardo Jr., car number 40, the Zardo Scrap Metal Chevrolet. Trying to get around him, going to the outside, as you mentioned, Dave. That appears to be the best way around this place.
Robbie Crouch looks high, looks low on the back straightaway, but the Tampa Tornado likes that outside line. Doesn't matter what the racetrack. Car sideways in turn 4. That's the Bob Ewell automobile, car number 33, as he and Robbie Thompson got together momentarily.
Well, they got the nails chewing there, but everybody keeps things on even keel. and they're trying to catch this guy, Kevin LePage, out of Shelburne, Vermont.
LePage, the veteran in car number 21, is not going to abuse that car at this early stage of the race. Here's the view out the back bumper of Claude Leclerc's automobile. That's the 77 of Blair Bissett, the Century Communications Chevrolet, in hot pursuit right behind him. These cars running very close and a little bit sideways out of turn number 2.
Just a little bit loose, and now where's Junior, you ask? Here he is beside Robbie Crouch's 48. Junior does not want to get swept here in Nova Scotia. Finished second to Randy McDonald in Halifax a few events ago. He doesn't want to lose 2 in a row in his hometown, so to speak.
1 year ago, Junior Hanley came to this racetrack, won the third and final leg of the $50,000 Budweiser Triple Crown. He knows this track well, racing in front of his native province. He wants this one badly, and the way he's running right now, he may get a shot at it.
Rolly McDonald, who has a great deal of experience at this track as well. Car number 13, yellow flag is coming out to slow it down, Dave.
We've got a problem, and it's with the Roger LaPerle automobile. Now, in the pre-race drivers meeting, American Canadian Tour officials said that due to the problems with the tires on this racetrack, if one of the front runners, one of the lead lap cars, suffered a punctured tire under green, they would throw the caution flag to allow them to get off this high-speed racetrack and make the tire change. First time this afternoon that's come into play, maybe the last time. Although if the practice rounds are any indication, we may see a couple of these mandatory cautions over the course of the afternoon.
Roger LaPerle from Saint-Denis, Quebec, brings the Chevrolet Lumina on pit row. It is a tire problem. John Massingbird is there. John.
Right rear tire for Roger LaPerle. We knew this track was going to be tough and difficult on tires this afternoon. A lot of guys concerned in the early going about cutting down these Goodyear Eagles.
Well, what about these Goodyear Eagles? Is it a track problem? Is it a tire problem, Dave? What is the story here? It is a big story.
Well, it's almost certainly a track problem. This asphalt is very old, and as a result, it's giving up sharp pieces of stone that go through the tire and cause a flat.
Also busy in the Randy McDonald pit, the second place car with new sneakers on the left rear. He's got a radio. Randy McDonald, Eric Thomas Raceline. You read?
Yeah.
Is it flat, going flat, or you hope that's just the one problem?
Yeah, it's definitely flat. Just check the tire. It's flat. 8 pounds in it. Are we going green, Gina?
No, they haven't. The pace car's getting ready to come in. Just get out there. Come on.
Every once in a while, you eavesdrop on the radio conversation. Everyone in the McDonald pit involved in the effort. PEI loves TSN. But Dave, let's go back to these tires. Why is the ACT technical people so concerned about how much air is left in the tires?
Well, because they agreed to throw a yellow if there were flats. They're going to check them, though. If they're not flat, there's going to be a severe penalty for bringing out that caution. Field goes back under green. 21, Kevin LePage away with the lead as they sort it out and get it sideways through turns 1 and 2.
Boy, Robbie Crouch got to a wobble in there. So did the 13 of Rolly McDonald. Junior Hanley's car is running loose, as it did in Halifax as well. But another great start there on the green flag restart by Kevin LePage. He just rocketed out there.
Things a little bit dicey at this stage of the race. There's a good mix of lapped cars in among the leaders. The number 30, that's Doug Stokes. He's a lap down to the leader, Kevin LePage, serving as an unwilling blocker right now for the leader. LePage has got himself a whole lot of asphalt and the lap car between himself and the number 2 machine.
Kevin LePage, the class of the field so far. There's the 27 of Kim Wallace. He's trying to stay near the front, but LePage is just moving here.
Kevin LePage showing a lot of muscle here in the early going. Obviously has a lot of horsepower in car number 21. Here's some more horsepower, but he's at the other end of the field. Randy McDonald trying to fight his way out of the back along with Derek Lynch, and we've got another yellow on the field. A tangle on the back straightaway. Once again, that's the 33 of Bob Ewell. 16, Kip Stockwell on the wall on the inside of the racetrack.
They got down in the loose stuff and the dust as well. It was kind of hard to tell. Here's Kim Wallace and the 02 car as well of Mike McKenzie in trouble, and get this thing sorted out. Let's look at this again, Dave.
Here's the replay from the Kim Wallace automobile. You can see he just gets it crossed up coming out of turn 2 into the side of the Mike McKenzie car, and they slide to a stop. That's the 3rd place automobile. Kim Wallace torn up on the inside of the back chute.
Not too happy. Goggles come off in a hurry. I don't think we should get inside the radio on the Kim Wallace machine somehow for some reason.
Maybe a cool-down period would be advised.
Just a wee bit angry, I would have to think. Ralph Nason, car 10 on pit row. This is a busy place, Dave.
6 cars in the pits right now, all for right side tires.
Let's check in with Bill Zardo running second.
Yeah, I hear you.
Billy, nice job to hang in there for third. Track conditions, this is tough on tires. How are yours holding out?
They seem pretty good. The car's a little bit loose now. I'm going to have to wait for a pit stop so we can tighten it up. I just can't get on the gas coming off the turns. But other than that, the car feels pretty good.
Page is obviously the rabbit and McDonald up there as well. Are those guys catchable?
The Page is running super good. I don't know if we can catch him or not, but we're going to try.
And as they give Kim Wallace's 27 a tow back to the pits, Kevin LePage, Zardo Sr., McDonald, Hanley, and Croucher, top 5 of the GM Parts 150 from Riverside Speedway in Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Coming back for more on Raceline after we do this. Welcome back to Raceline. How about a little performance racing news trivia brought to you by Performance Racing News, North America's Motorsport Authority. Okay. Junior Hanley's already won 7 events this year. What is the current wins record for one season? Who said it? Dragon with 10, Crouch with 11, or Claude Leclerc with 9? You got 3 choices. Going to give you a few minutes to think about it, and we'll give you the answer a little later. Uh-oh. Now a little dental work here on the nose of Bill Zardo Jr. in car 40.
And that's not wisdom teeth. That's a cool-down effort, drilling holes in the nose to try and get some air to the radiator as we get set for a restart.
It looked pretty drastic from here. I hope they froze it. Restart coming up. Pace car ducks in. Here they come. John Holbert got the green again and turns them loose. And a great start here by Bill Zardo Sr. Man, did he get out there quick.
Well, a minute ago, we heard Bill Zardo say he didn't think he could run with Kevin LePage. Not. He runs out in front of him on the restart. It's Zardo, LePage, Hanley, Rolly McDonald. 4-car jam for the lead as they hit turn 3.
Talk about Bill Zardo Sr. on the move on the restart. Look at Hanley trying to get by the 21 of LePage. He's going to try and move in on the Zardo 46, and Rolly McDonald hanging in there as well. Very nicely in car 13.
Kevin LePage down to the inside, making a move for the lead, but he's going to have to wait a moment. The caution flag is out again. And Eric, I believe that for the second time, it's a flat tire for Randy McDonald.
Yeah, they got the jacks ready and the tires ready in the McDonald pit, and Randy in the 01's going to bring it in here for some new shoes. This tire story is self-evident, all just from the very beginning of the race and continuing to this point too.
Randy McDonald back in the pits. This time it's the right rear tire that's gone flat. Last time it was the left. At this rate, Eric, he's going to have to win the race just to pay his tire bill.
Bill Zardo Sr. up front. He's got the radio on again. Bill, Eric Thomas, do you read?
Go ahead.
Kind of nice to run up there in that nice, clean, cool air, isn't it?
You got that right.
Notice some chatter that the car is starting to mishandle maybe a little bit. Or you're able to get into the corners nice, but is it doing something you're not accustomed to?
I'm getting into the corner super good. I just can't get off the corner. I can't get on the gas till I get the car straight or I'll spin it out. The car is just super loose. If it was tightened up, I could be walking away, I think, right now. The car, other than being loose, it's perfect.
Eric, I guarantee that the man on the outside, 21 Kevin LePage, he knows that Bill Zardo has a problem with that car. He's going to try and hold him way down on the bottom of the track, compound his difficulty, and get the lead back as the green flag comes out.
Let's see if you're right. That's exactly what happened, and look at Junior Hanley get by. Rubs on the side of Zardo Sr., and he takes over second place. You were right on the first part of the equation, Dave, and Junior Hanley came up on the bottom line of it.
Well, Kevin LePage and Junior Hanley, both veteran racers. They know that the worst thing you can do to a loose racetrack is try and hold it down on the very bottom of the racetrack. They forced Zardo to do that. They forced him to get out of the throttle, and as a result, the Z-Man goes from first to third.
Kevin LePage of Shelburne, Vermont, car number 21 leading. Campbellville, Ontario's Junior Hanley hanging on a second place. Zardo back there third, but look at these two guys start to stretch things out here, Dave.
LePage and Hanley both have very stout mounts underneath them here this afternoon as they begin to leg it out over Bill Zardo. Hanley just maintaining contact right now, beginning to move in on the Kevin LePage car, and you can see the difference. Hanley right down on the bottom of the racetrack. LePage forced to run a little bit higher. He leaves the door open, and it won't be long until Hanley sticks his nose underneath for the spot.
Here's a nice little battle for 5th and 6th place back in the field. The one extra Brad Layton, the 91 ACT Rookie of the Year, and Scott Fraser, who finished a great 3rd place at Halifax. One of the up-and-coming stars of this series is Brad Layton. Let's get to know him just a little bit better. I think just about every one of us has sat in the stands or has watched at home and has thought, gee, I'd like to try to drive one of these stock cars.
For those lucky enough to actually strap in, this is a lot harder than it looks.
That's what some of the pundits were thinking when 29-year-old Brad Layton of Center Harbor, New Hampshire, graduated from the limited division to the rumbling 500-plus horsepower ACT late models. There was a lot more power, a lot more speed, and a lot more experience at the wheels of the other cars.
Well, not only did Brad Layton pass the acid test in his first race, he finished 1991 as the American Canadian Tour Rookie of the Year.
I think I was to start the season off. It was kind of a roller coaster ride. We went real well in the first half of the year. We went down a little bit and back up, but you know, it took me a while to make the transition, but I've got a good car, had a lot of good help, a lot of experience behind me, and I think it went pretty well for us.
It might have looked as if Layton was treading deep water when at mid-season he lost a tire at Airborne Speedway and wound up into and on top of the wall.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it, Eric. It was quite a vicious crash. It ruined the race car, and you know, we were running really hard that day. I was looking forward for a good finish, but without a doubt, that's the worst crash we had. I'm not exactly sure what happened. There wasn't much left of the race car to look it over, but hopefully it won't happen again.
The pundits were at it again. Some certain Layton would lose his rookie nerve after such a wreck.
But Layton didn't wilt under the pressure. Pressure? When he returned to Airborne Speedway later last year, he stared the wall down, and he actually led 40 laps of the event before he eventually finished second.
Yeah, it was, and I'm sure it was some people were really worried that I was going to be a little scared about the wall getting closer, but I got to admit, the first few laps, I felt like it was going to jump out and bite me again, because I personally didn't think I did anything wrong. I don't think the car broke. I'm not exactly sure what happened. So getting back out there, finishing second, leading a few laps, that really helped the ego of the whole deal.
Last year, Layton pulled down 5 top 5 finishes and 10 top 10 placings. The critics were silenced, and ACT had their Rookie of the Year and the winner of the Ricky Crouch Memorial Award for the freshman who best demonstrates the ideal of the American Canadian Tour. Brad Layton, one of racing's colorful people, brought to you by Kodak.
We are back under the green flag at Riverside, and once again, it's Kevin LePage and Junior Hanley fighting it out for the lead on the front straightaway.
Look at Junior Hanley now. He's got some bite on the outside. Couple of T-Birds fighting up front. Junior Hanley out of Campbellville takes over the lead, and the crowd goes nuts.
They love Hanley here in the Maritimes. He's the native son. A year ago, he won it all here on this very racetrack, and now he is back on top, the man to beat. 72, Junior Hanley, 21, Kevin LePage, then a long gap back to Bill Zardo.
These two guys churning away against each other. A little bit of smoke out of the back end of LePage. Some of that scrubbing tire wear we're talking about, Dave.
That's absolutely tire smoke. Kevin LePage getting in hard on the brakes, hard on the tires. They put a lap on the Roger LaPearl car number 00. He may be in trouble with another cut tire. He is. Yeah. Right front tire's flat, but he's going to limp it onto pit road.
Down low and moving very slowly. Roger LaPearl with tire trouble before. Look at Robbie Crouch now in the 48. So far, he's eluded a lot of the tire problems, trying to gain some ground here back in the pack.
And he is on the march. He moves around the Scott Fraser machine. Next in line, the 33 of Bob Ewell. In front of him, just barely in front of him, the 1X of Brad Layton.
Cut by Scott Fraser in the 0 nice and cleanly. Crouch's car handling very, very well. As we mentioned, a 2-time winner here at Riverside.
You know, it's a sign of a veteran, Eric. He's not wasting a lot of time down on the inside trying to drive underneath these younger drivers.
Right.
He knows that he's going to save a lot of time and a lot of effort putting it up on that outside rail and just driving around and making his way to the front.
We were mentioning these two guys pulling away from the field. Boy, is LePage putting the heat on Junior Hanley. We'll get back to that in a second. Crouch on the move here as well. The 1X of Brad Layton up high, and both of them scoot around the slower car.
This battle for 4th place, an interesting matchup. Brad Layton in the 1X, back in his days of running limited sportsman cars in Maine and New Hampshire, said his idol was Robbie Crouch.
That's right.
Loved to watch him race, took his lessons from watching how Crouch made his way through traffic. Well, the Tampa Tornado may try and give young Brad Layton just another lesson now.
Getting by the 77 of Blair Bissett down in the lower groove here. Brad Layton in the 1X, 48 of Robbie Crouch. Dave, we're getting close to the halfway mark. 75 laps just about gone here in the GM Parts 150 from Riverside Speedway and Antigonish on Raceline. We're glad you could be with us.
So far, things going about the way we might have expected. expected. At the front, Junior Hanley, extremely dominant in car number 72. Right behind him, Kevin LePage. Bill Zardo closing back up. LePage goes around Hanley. Hanley may be in trouble. I think we've got another tire going down. The Molson X machine. Junior Hanley down to the inside. I almost guarantee right now he's on the radio to his crew saying, get an official, get me a yellow flag, I'm in trouble.
He needs a yellow in the worst way. He just sort of got swallowed up by the field. He's going backwards in a hurry, and Kevin LePage in the 21, our pole sitter, inherits the lead.
Now his fortune is in the hands of his crew. They have gotten to the officials. They've got their yellow flag. Hanley able to stay on the racetrack, remain on the lead lap. You can bet 72's headed for the pits.
And this is going to have to be some fast work here. Junior Hanley going to make his way around and get some new sneakers on the 72. Pulls up beside Kevin LePage in car number 21 here.
Well, it was pretty obvious that something went radically wrong with Junior Hanley's machine, as one moment he was leading Kevin LePage, and the next LePage was just waltzing around. The Hanley team standing by on pit road with the air wrench in hand. Let's go down to the pits and John Massingberg.
Junior Hanley rolls in. He too affected by the tire wear. Flat tire action today. Difficult for all of these leaders to try and stay on that lead lap. Now Junior's going to have to go back out, get on at the end of the pack, and have to work his way through traffic one more time.
Junior Hanley pulls it away. Pretty quick stop. Wait for the sign man down there for the field to get by. Now he gets the go-ahead sign and he rejoins the field. But boy, he had a nice roll going there. Too bad the tire went down.
Now some of the viewers might be wondering, since he's on pit road, why not change two tires, both right? Under ACT rules, he's not allowed to do it. Only the tire that went flat and brought out the caution is allowed to be changed. Pace car is in, back under green. Kevin LePage back on the point.
Man, oh man, does LePage get things moving quickly on these restarts. Like a rabbit, he just pulled away on the 46 Azardo. This guy's got it figured out as far as the restarts go.
These drivers take different approaches to this racetrack. They have different gears in the rear end. They allow them to do different things at different points on the racetrack. Obviously, LePage has got a set of gears underneath that car that allows him to come off the mark very, very quickly.
A little bit of space here for Robbie Crouch to work. He's running in third place. 1X of Brad Layton running in fourth place. Some debris on the track here, Dave. We saw it flash by the camera.
A piece of fiberglass looked like a section of somebody's hood flying down the front straightaway. It appears to be out of harm's way. Field should be able to stay green. I think that came off what's left of the Derek Lynch automobile.
Give you an idea of the banking again here at Riverside Speedway and some of the body damage on these cars as we've just about got to the halfway point here and passed it in the GM Parts 150 at Riverside Speedway. Kevin LePage doing a great job up front, and I am very impressed too by Bill Zardo Sr. in a car that isn't handling the way he wants.
That's the 0-2, Mike McKenzie down on the inside of the racetrack. McKenzie, the 10th place starter on pit road under green, and he is going to go a lap down here very shortly. LePage continues to set the blistering pace. He moves around another one of the lapped automobiles. There's Brad Layton moving under Crouch, and now Crouch is in trouble.
Oh boy, this is a tough break for Robbie Crouch running well. There's the 92 of Whitlock going by, and the Stokes 30 and Baudouin in the 7. But Crouch slowing down here, no doubt a victim of this tire problem.
Well, this is not a racetrack that you want to be circulating around with a flat tire. The yellow flag is out. They'll get the Tampa Tornado onto pit road. So yet another potential leader in this event is going to have to duck in for unplanned service.
Slowing things down. In case you've just joined us, this track surface rather old. It breaks apart in little marbles. Not usually a problem, but it does cut down these tires. And the yellows have been pretty well plentiful here this afternoon. And Crouch, latest victim of this track problem, and he's going to have to come in for some new skins.
It makes you wonder, Eric. It's obviously just the luck of the draw, but people like Kevin LePage have been able to go out there. Brad Layton have run all the way without so much as a problem, while Junior Hanley, Randy McDonald, Robbie Crouch have all had to come off the front of the field and come in with punctured tires.
Crouch waiting for this tire change. It is getting a little bit lengthy here. We saw some of the steam coming off those hot brakes. This track very tough on tires, and yes, tough on brakes as well. This is a very lengthy stop here, Dave.
And this is very strange because they've taken... Oh, no, he's off the jack. Crouch apparently thought the stop was over, gunned the car, and came down off the jack. Now, real confusion down there. They have both right side tires off. Apparently, they could not tell which tire had gone flat.
Oh, what a terrible miscue. We can see Robbie Crouch obviously not ready to visit with anyone. A little bit of a hot temper inside this car. Did I not see Beaver Dragon just on the outside of the picture here?
I'm sure I saw him over there on the edge. There he is. Beaver Dragon's going to try and orchestrate the tire change. Pick these, not these. He wants to make sure Crouch gets out here. He can understand how these problems can really frustrate a driver.
Well, in addition to frustration, it's cost Robbie Crouch a lot of time. He has lost a lap in the pits.
Boy.
The ACT officials are there wanting to make sure that nothing else happens on this stop. They're going to have to sort things out now. Which tires came off, which tires went on, which tires were flat. He could get another 2-lap penalty if they don't find a flat tire in that bunch.
Beaver, if you know what's good for you, don't stick your head in there. You may come up without it. Boy, oh boy, this is really, really frustrating for Robbie Crouch.
And they're still not done. They may have done some damage on the car when they dropped it off. They're missing a lug nut. They've lost a lug nut.
What else can go wrong here?
Well, not much else, I don't believe. Beaver Dragon says, okay, Robbie, send it away. What a disaster for the 48 team. I know the crew is suicidal. Just a lack of communication. The driver thought the crew had completed their work.
You know what else is unusual, Dave Moody, is the Robbie Crouch crew is the 2-time defending GM Parts National Pit Stop Competition winner. So that just doesn't happen to these guys.
No, indeed, it does not. Speaking of the GM Parts Pit Stop Series, that competition was held earlier.
GM Parts puts up $25,000 for this competition, Dave, and the crews really get pumped for this, don't they?
They do indeed. There's a lot of practicing going on around race shops around North America. 25 grand on the line. These teams at a number of GM Parts pit stop competition meets over the course of the season look to post the lowest elapsed times. A 2-tire change, a full tank of gas, and a clean windshield. And they look to earn themselves the lowest time of the day. And the top teams at the end of the season go on to the Grand Championship Finals a bit later on this year.
Every driver drives the same car. They don't use their own automobile, do they?
They use the GM Parts Pro Shop Chevrolet Lumina show car.
Right.
They use the same tires, the same jack, the same air wrenches. This is the Robbie Crouch team. This is the way they usually work.
Oh, I see.
They're the 2-time champions. The 2 years of this series, they have won it both times. They're in a neck-and-neck dogfight for it this time around, and in this round, the Crouch team came out on top.
Pit stop around 17 seconds. You're really getting it done on the American and Canadian Tour. And there's Crouch out there, all complete with new sneakers.
Robbie Crouch now is on the back, and he is lapped down to the field as a result of that problem on pit road. But at the front, we've got ourselves a battle right now.
Green flag at the ready. Kevin LePage in the 21. Zardo Sr. tries it on the outside. Green flag. We're off and running again.
And I think LePage is in trouble. He pushes high. Zardo is loose, and he's into the wall.
Oh.
I think I saw a piece of rubber come off LePage's right front tire.
Yep.
He pushed high up on the track, and the Z-Man left with nowhere to go. Bill Zardo, a former leader of this race, now is in the fence. You can see LePage, it just will not turn right. And Bill Zardo hard into the guardrail, hard into Roger LaPerle, and what a tough break for the veteran from Brampton, Ontario.
Wrong place at the wrong time. Cliche, yes, but indeed true for Roger LaPerle. And now Bill Zardo. Severe front-end damage on the 46 and LePage as well.
The 21 Dona Flamand Allen Lambert car. This time it's the right rear tire that's gone away to drop another leader out of the running. John is down in the pits with Bill Zardo.
I don't know. I just come out of the corner, and I guess Kevin's car pushed a little bit, and we just bumped a bit, and I hit the wall. It was just a racing accident. It wasn't anybody's fault.
Bill, it looks like damage to the upper and lower control arm. The crew's going to change it and put you back out again.
Yeah, well, these guys are real good workers. I think they'll get me back out there. Unfortunately, we're out of contention for the day, but we'll be back at Sanair.
There you go. He's issued the challenge. He will be back at Sanair. The veteran, the Z-Man, Bill Zardo.
We're back with more from the GM Parts 150 from Riverside Speedway in Antigonish, Nova Scotia in just a moment. Welcome back to Riverside Speedway, Antigonish, Nova Scotia. Eric Thomas, Dave Moody, John Massingbird. Performance Racing News trivia answer. Hanley's already won 7. Who's got the record for most wins in a season? Dragon with 10, Crouch with 11. Well, the answer is Robbie Crouch with 11. That happened in 1988.
But Junior Hanley on a pretty good pace to try and break that record in 1992. Green flag is out. We are back underway. It's Brad Layton in the 1X and the 01 Randy McDonald. 2 flat tires and all is back at the front and going for the lead.
McDonald has picked his way silently and inconspicuously through this field. He's leading it. Now we've got another yellow to slow it down. And pit stops again, a big part of this race. And for more on the stops, let's go to the Castrol Tech line and John.
Welcome to the Castrol Tech line. Clearly an unusual story today as we talk about tires. One of the things that we're seeing obviously already is the many pit stops, and there's some advantages in using one style of wheel over another. A lot of the competitors run this style, which is a wide 5 format. You can see where the bolt holes or the lugs go on around the outside diameter here. It bolts up to a large aluminum hub. On this one, this is the one that Junior Hanley uses. It's more like a Bush or a Winston Cup style. The advantage is that this hub will self-center itself immediately, and he's also got spring-loaded lug nuts on it that makes losing them absolutely out of the question. This one's a little bit lighter, but this one is definitely faster for pit stops, and that's what's making the difference here this afternoon.
Halfway through the GM Parts 150 here at Riverside. Who's still running after all the carnage? Well, quite a few cars, as it turns out.
Indeed, a lot of cars still running, but a few of them are down laps now because of tire problems and other difficulties. Here's two gentlemen that may not have been at the front all the way, but they're there right now, and that's what counts. Randy McDonald and Brad Layton.
Randy McDonald out of Oshawa, Ontario. This is his 30th birthday. Would he love to bring home back-to-back wins after winning it in Halifax on Raceline? Can he do it at Antigonish? He's going to have to hold off Layton here, who's really hanging tough.
0-1 McDonald, 1X Layton, then the lapped car of Doug Stokes, Eric. He gave up his ride on the pace lap. To a lockout, there he goes. He's around and he's headed for the fence. Andre Baudouin piles in car number 7. Guess what? We're back under yellow. This time it's not a problem. This time it's not a tire problem. This time it's a wreck.
Well, let's have a look at this again here, Dave, from Bill Zardo Jr.'s advantage point here.
Bill Zardo Jr. along the outside of Steve Knowlton and into the back of Junior Hanley's car. Little Z goes around, cars all over the racetrack, fiberglass flying. Let's see what happened. The lap car of Doug Stokes slides up the track, almost puts Andre Baudouin, the third-place car, into the wall, slides back up the banking. Baudouin left with nowhere to go. What a heartbreaker for the youngster from St. Augustin, Quebec.
You're as hard as you can be on the brake pedal, and the car still won't stop. Now Zardo Jr., who had a great qualifying position in to get some of this body paneling all peeled off, and they're looking to make sure there isn't any radiator damage as well, Dave.
Considering how hard he hit the back bumper of Junior Hanley, Bill Zardo Jr. very fortunate to be able to get back out on the tail end of this thing. Leaderboard once again, McDonald and Layton in row number 1. A couple of lap cars in the mix. The third place machine, young Steve Knowlton, the independent campaigner, one of the true low buckers. Make that no buckers on the GM series, but he's got a good run going today.
He was the 1990 ACT Rookie of the Year. Green flag and a great restart, just like in Halifax for Oshawa's Randy McDonald as the cars puff through the speedy drive.
Randy McDonald and Brad Layton really represent both ends of the spectrum today. McDonald has had 2 flat tires, had to come from the rear twice. Brad Layton, one of only 2 or 3 drivers that's been able to go the distance without having a punctured tire. Right now, the advantage is with Randy McDonald. And you know, Eric, those pit stops may prove to be the difference because McDonald is on newer tires.
He is on newer tires, and if Junior Hanley wants to try and get back to where he was, he's got a lot of people to push his way through here, but he's really boxed in.
Hanley and Kevin LePage trying to fight their way out of the back. 72 Hanley to the inside of Dave Whitlock, dives underneath what's left of the Derek Lynch car, but he is really boxed in. 72-21 trying to make their way out of the back, and boy, look at Hanley slice through this field.
Just when we talked about him being boxed in, that is classic Junior Hanley. He finds a hole where there isn't one and pushes his way through. Look at a move by Fraser Zero here.
Junior Hanley just blowing away from Kevin LePage, blowing away from everybody. I think Junior Hanley, tire problems and all, maybe a little angry. We've got a car up on the wall. It's the Claude Leclerc automobile. And Eric, I hate to say it, but I think again it's a cut tire that's put the Auto Pro machine up and into the fence.
One of the drivers able to claw his way up to the field is Derek Lynch, now running 6th. He's got the radio. Let's check with him. Derek Lynch. Derek, it's been a struggle all afternoon, but you've got yourself back up within pistol shooting range here.
Yeah, we're up here. You know, we got 30 more laps to go. We still haven't got our chickens out of the eggshells yet, so we're just going to wait and see what happens.
It's been a pretty rugged weekend for you, hasn't it?
It is. The quitters never win a run up front, so we're going to keep plugging away.
Dave, despite the ripped-up cars and the number of flat tires that we've had, there have been a number of comeback stories here.
Well, Derek Lynch, not the least of them. He tore the front end off the car. He's had a flat or 2 along the way, but right now he's up and in the number 6 position. Junior Hanley, Randy McDonald have made some comebacks of their own, and it's not over yet.
Randy McDonald, Brad Layton on the front row. The ACT GM pace car pulls it in. green flag is out, and away we go for the latter quarter of the GM Parts 150 here at Riverside. Can McDonald hang on and make it 2 in Nova Scotia? Let's see.
Randy McDonald off the inside pole, away with the lead. Brad Layton in the 1X is second. You have to wonder, Eric, as tough as this place has been on tires today, Brad Layton has got to have a high heart rate right now because he's gone the distance on the same 4 tires. He's got to wonder when lightning strikes the 1X today.
Let us not overlook the obvious. You may have mentioned him, Dave, but Junior Hanley coming back off of his tire problems, really on the move, getting by Kim Wallace in the 27. Hanley was up front before. He doesn't want to get swept in Nova Scotia. On the move towards the front, he knows McDonald's up there somewhere.
And as soon as he gets underneath the lap car of Bob Ewell right now, he's going to raise Brad Layton's heartbeat yet another couple of beats per minute, as he is the number 3 automobile right now, and is he driving it hard. Sideways out of turn 2, trying to drive underneath Brad Layton. Look out, 1X. Here comes Junior Hanley.
Junior Hanley flinging that T-bird all over the place on the inside, going to take care of Brad Layton's 1X. Now he tries to reel in the 0-1 of Randy McDonald.
Both McDonald and Hanley have had their obstacles to overcome today as far as cut tires are concerned, but the crews did their job. They've got their drivers in a position to win. Now let's see who's got the strongest race car. McDonald on the outside uses the lap machine of Blair Bassett as a block, but Hanley right back on the attack, down to the inside, puts the nose underneath McDonald for the lead.
And as we have seen time and time again, Junior Hanley and Randy McDonald in a challenge, but hang on to that challenge for the moment. Big problems with LePage, and that's Ralph Nason in the yellow car, car number 10.
Kevin LePage, Ralph Nason, Bob Ewell also involved. We've got some fluid down on the racetrack. All 3 cars quickly drive it away, but LePage is in trouble. He may have ruptured an oil line on that car. He is spewing fluid all over the track. He can't hang on to it. He's going to need some assistance getting back on pit road.
Too bad for Kevin LePage, our pole sitter for the event, running so well. And an oil line, perhaps a lot of smoke out there. Let's look at this again, Dave, and just see what happens here.
Well, you can see LePage is already gone. Bob Ewell and Ralph Nason. Boy, this is a tough one for the yellow cars. 3 yellow and white automobiles involved in this jam. Ewell and Nason left really with nowhere to go.
So, a late yellow, and look who's still side by side. We're going to pick up this fight just before the yellow. They're going to just pick up where they left off. Junior Hanley and Randy McDonald, pace cars in, and Hanley takes off.
That was no contest. Hanley puts the hammer down, drives away from Randy McDonald, and now the challenge, wait a minute, another yellow flag. Caution is out again. This time it's the 77 of Blair Bassett, Claude Leclerc in the 11, and again, Kevin LePage, whose race now has gone completely in the dumper.
Well, the carnage was about 80% before. It's up around 98 right now. Let's have another look at it here.
Here's out the back bumper, looking at the Kevin LePage automobile, minus already a good deal of that front fiberglass work. Bang!
Oh.
Wow, there's one into the living room as the Kevin LePage car number 21 just climbs into the back seat.
Get my aspirin. That was a hard hit. Well, Hanley definitely wants to put on the show that he wants for the fans here, and that would, of course, include a checkered flag. Can he hang on and do it, Dave? What do you think?
Well, based on what we saw just a moment ago on that restart, there's not much question that he's going to be in contention. Randy McDonald unable even to mount a token challenge to Junior Hanley on the last green flag, as Claude Leclerc once again sets about limping the Autopro Chevrolet back onto pit road, his second off-road excursion of the afternoon. Ordinarily one of the prettiest cars on the American-Canadian Tour, but not now, as he's torn most of it away.
Bob Ewell's 33, sitting wounded with the window net down.
One of the local competitors that runs only periodically on the American-Canadian Tour, usually here on the Maritime Swing. That's not a quick fix for the Dona Flavon team. Kevin LePage with some serious damage in the nose.
Jack goes underneath. They're going to pull that tire off, but they're not going to like what they see once they get that tire off. See what kind of damage they've got. Busy again on pit road.
And once again, it's going to be Junior Hanley, Randy McDonald, and Brad Layton at the front of the pack. Last time around, Eric, it looked like Layton might have a little something left for Randy McDonald.
Tough weekend for Claude Leclerc. He also ripped up his car pretty badly at Halifax, and here too at Antigonish. Set for the restart here in just a circuit or two.
Chief starter John Holbert crossing the field over to the columns of 2, and I've got a feeling the battle down the stretch is going to be for 2nd, 3rd, and 4th positions. Junior Hanley, if he shows the kind of muscle he showed on the last restart, may be home free to his 2nd win at this speedway in as many years.
We have had a lot of wet weather on the American-Canadian Tour, but it has been a gorgeous afternoon. here in Antigonish. We come down to the final few pages of the GM Parts 150 here at Riverside Speedway on Raceline.
A tremendous crowd on hand. 1 year ago, we set an all-time attendance record for this speedway. This time around, even a few more folks in the seats. They turn out en masse when the ACT and the GM Series come to town.
John Holbert set to turn these guys loose to finish this thing off. And Junior Hanley up front, car number 72. He wants to put on the show for the hometown fans. He's the guy, Dave, that they've come to see.
Well, no question that I would say a vast majority of this grandstand came home. If one of the locals, like one of the Clattenburgs or Bob Ewell, can't win it, Junior Hanley's as close to local as it comes. He grew up here in the Maritimes, and once again, look out, no contest at the drop of the green.
Is he running the same fuel? Man, did he get out of the hole quick. What a hole shot.
And down to the inside, again, it's Brad Layton beginning to pin the crosshairs on the 0-1 of Randy McDonald.
Brad Layton doing a nice job here in the 1X, the Firax Newlack Buick. And Randy McDonald gets a little bit of bobble there as well.
Well, these drivers are right on the ragged edge right now. Randy McDonald, Brad Layton, both on tires that are less than perfect. McDonald pitted in the early stages of this event.
Right.
Layton, as we mentioned, has not pitted yet. Kim Wallace right in the battle. And let's not count out that number 5 car in line, the 0, now number 4, Scott Frazier, the youngster, is getting it done again.
Shubin Academy, Nova Scotia, brilliant third place at Halifax. He's going to finish in the top 5, I hope, at least for his cause, here at Riverside.
He is on the back bumper of Brad Layton, and just as we thought, that's going to be the battle. Layton, the second place automobile with his hands full, 2 to go. Junior Hanley can almost get out and push it home from here.
Junior Hanley did not want to get swept here on our Eastern Tour. Loser at Halifax, second to Randy McDonald, but he's going to, in the baseball vernacular, Dave, split the twin bill.
Junior Hanley just 2 corners away from the checkered flag. Hanley across the line, the 72 wins it. At the stripe, McDonald will take second. The battle for third, Layton by a half a car length over Scott Frazier, Derek Lynch in 5th.
Junior Hanley led all but 4 laps of this event last year, Dave. He had to work a lot harder for it this afternoon, but he's there at the end to collect the checkers one more time.
Like just about everyone else, Hanley had his tire problems, but rebounds to win it again. McDonald in second, Layton, Frazier, and Lynch, the top 5 in a great finish here at Riverside.
Whitlock, Knowlton, Baudouin, Nason, and Metivier, 6 through 10. We're back to talk with the winner, Junior Hanley, on Raceline in a moment.
For the champion, Junior, if anybody could ever overcome adversity, you did it today. An engine change at high noon when you blew it up in the semi. 3 tire stops, phenomenal run for you today.
This car was just running really great, and like the motor we put in, I think run better than the other motor. It was supposed to be the best motor, and we had one flat, and then we felt another one going flat, so the caution just come out at the right time. We come in and changed both rears, and the car was beautiful after that.
A tremendous homecoming, Junior. Second place at Halifax on Friday night. Now Sunday afternoon, a great finish again.
Well, I would have liked to run one in Halifax for the fans and stuff, but we managed to finish second. It really wasn't good enough for second, but we managed to finish second. And today here, the car was good enough. I think I could have hit it again and still won.
Unbelievable run for the champion, Junior Hanley, winning this afternoon at Riverside Speedway.
So what does this do to the standings of the GM National Stock Car Series with only 3 to go? The lead for Junior Hanley over McDonald is only about 40 points. Second place runner, Randy McDonald, standing by with John.
Well, this is getting to be a wild situation between you and Hanley, trading first and second place runs. You won over in Halifax on Friday night, and a good run for second this afternoon, Randy.
Oh, we would like to have been a little bit closer there, 5 to go. I don't know, I guess we just got our flat tires too early in the race, and they're all wore out by the time the end came.
And tires really were the story today. Everybody, we counted at least 23, 24 flat tires on pit road.
We got 2 flat tires ourselves, but they came real early, and so by the time I got to the front, then Junior's was sort of in the middle of the race, so his tires were a little bit better. And I mean, it was real obvious there at the end. He just took off. I couldn't even hardly turn the car compared to what he was doing.
Well, all in all, still not a bad run for first and second on this weekend. Good run for the East Coast swing.
All right, thanks.
Let's pick a Revell Model Performance Driver of the race. Yes, Junior Hanley won it, Dave Moody, but some great work behind the scenes to get him there.
Maybe we ought to give 50% to Hanley, 50% to the crew. He blew a motor in the final practice round. That crew went to work, and 42 minutes later, the new engine was in the car. Here's the end result. Junior Hanley on his way to victory lane one more time.
Dave Moody, when we first looked at this track here at Antigonish, we knew it was going to be tough on tires. We had no idea how tough, and talk about a battle of attrition. Wreckage all over the place of the entire race.
Well, it really was like a back alley knife fight. The guys that came through with the fewest cuts at the end of the day finished up front.
Exactly. What a battle, though, between Randy and Junior.
It was a great race, and Junior Hanley, despite a blown motor, despite 3 flat tires and a couple of trips to the back of the pack, somehow perseveres and gets the win.
Randy McDonald wins it in Halifax. Junior Hanley comes through in Antigonish. It's been a great maritime swing here on Raceline, and we're glad you could be along with us. So on behalf of Dave Moody and John Massingbird, I'm Eric Thomas saying so long for Raceline.
Racing radios provided by New Venture Communications, London, Ontario. In-car and wall cameras supplied by Sony Canada, makers of the Sony Handycam. Raceline has been brought to you by GM Parts, the expert choice. Kodak Gold Plus Film. You can't keep the moment without Kodak. Castrol XLR, the oil engineered for today's cars. Revell, the world's model maker. And by Budweiser Racing. It's a Bud race.
Questions or comments for Raceline? Drop us a line at Post Office Box 551, Caledonia, Ontario, Canada. NOA 1AO.